Good afternoon, everybody. Thomas here. As you can see, I've got a little project going on here. I decided to go ahead and build a carport, garage, whatever you want to call it, with an industrial kitchen for my wife to process her goat milk into soaps, cheese, whatever. And if I can, I'm going to sneak a little wood shop into there. Not sure if that's going to happen or not. It's kind of up in the air. But as you can see here, we have 24 foot wide, and it's going to be 36 foot long. These trusses here are box tubing, as you can see. Boom, box tubing. My posts here are oak posts. What you see there is a mistake that I made. I built my post 6x6 true. The tie that I have down there is a Simpson Strong tie CB66. The CB66 is made for a 5.5 by 5.5 post. Hey, but no issue. You know, I can be resourceful. I can go through each of these, run my circus saw a few times across it, knock it out with a hammer, and there we go. Now we have a 5.5 inch base that is 6 inches wide. Long story short, oak was a great idea in the sense that it's strong. It's a bad idea in the sense that it's very, very hard to work with. What I'm doing right now is I'm going through and adding these bolts. And I wanted to make sure I had a good connection. I didn't want to do lag bolts at the top. So these are 8-inch long, 5/8 inch diameter bolts that were left over from the construction of my parents' home years ago. I've been saving these bolts. I knew I'd have a project for them at some point. Contemplating putting a washer on there, but the only reason I didn't really is because the size of the hole that I have through the wood and through the metal is exactly, well, slightly larger than 5/8. I actually had to hammer those bolts through. They were a pain. But there's my wood pile. It's been sitting there for a while. That's going to be the purlins across the top here. When I first got these trusses up, attempted to get them up, I was using this jury-rigged boom pole that I made for my tractor. That didn't really work that well, so then I incorporated my neighbor into the build, and this right here is just temporary. So I have bolts in there to stop it from overturning. But anyways, the neighbor has a much larger tractor that can lift up. My last set of trusses there, the elevation changes across the base. The top elevation across the top of the poles is the same, but I wanted to give myself a little more room back aft. Anyways, long story short, my tractor could not lift up this last truss here. I had a boom pole. It was scary, high weight, bad weight, just didn't like it. So he came over here with his tractor, made it go up in no time. He's like, hey, while I'm here, you want to just go ahead and knock them all up? Didn't plan on it. I just want to get one up there to see how it is. But we ended up knocking out all 4 of these trusses in about 45 minutes. So I'd like to say thank you to William on that. But I could not be happier. I mean, these trusses, I've never done a board or a batter board before. Everything is like squared up as true as can be. And I could not be happier. I mean, if I could get lined up there, but everything, boom, is like perfectly lined up. I mean, just phenomenal. I'm so happy. But my dad's coming this weekend. Intentions are to get the roof on, but what I'm doing today is getting these bolts in. Like I said, these 5/8 inch bolts. I'm using my buddy Tony's big old drill here and that auger bit essentially to go and put the suckers on there. It's been slow going. There's nothing easy about this project. However, I'm doing it pretty much all myself. It's a learning experience. Pouring these footers and everything was fun, difficult, all the above, because it was about 95 to 90 to 95 degrees with heat indexes, 110. It was just absolutely miserably hot. But I've got everything trued up. leveled across the top. I mean, I'm just ecstatic that I get some progress done. It's something I can physically see. I just couldn't be happier. So next few days, intentions are to get these bolts through so they'll be fully secured and I won't have to worry about those anymore. I'll come through, start getting some of these 2x6s that I cut, throwing them up on there into the cups for the trusses on the the purlin spot there, and just start going to town. I've got my metal back over there. In total, this barn, or this garage, carport, kitchen mixture, whatever, is going to be about $3,000 out of pocket. And what that incorporates is these trusses. Again, there's 4 trusses, 24-foot wide, box tubing. Those were roughly $1,200. The metal itself, 26 sheets, 14-foot tin, was around $700. Then I bought the screws for another $100. And then the concrete work, I'm going to be doing the concrete work myself, but the truckload of concrete that I'm going to get, because I'm going to do the pad here on the back 12 by 24 foot section. So essentially right here in front of me is going to be the only section that's going to be concreted. And then I'm going to do a walkway going to the house. But that concrete, roughly about $1,000. I'll be using the bull float for my father-in-law. And then I might incorporate some help with my buddy Tony there. Long story short, $3,000 is kind of what my budget is on this thing, building it myself. And I'm going to wire in the kitchen with 220 because I'm going to run some larger equipment in there, but fridge, freezer, sink, all that good stuff. And then we'll probably also have a woodworking shop if I can talk my wife into it. The woodworking shop will run a planer and a few other things. So the planer I'm looking at getting is 220 volts, so I will definitely need to run 2 breakers into it. But the good thing is my breaker is right outside the house there, very close. But there we go. That's where I'm at, and I'll keep y'all posted.